Welcome to the Learning for Legacy show with me, your host, Afam Onyenakala. This is all about the concept of making generational wealth understandable, practical, and accessible. I'll be exploring a range of topics and sharing conversations, interviews, and more. Because what good is building wealth if we don't build the people? Welcome, and thank you for joining me today on another edition of the show. Now, in the past, I've talked about how wealth, when translated, is more about welfare or a state of well-being. So, if your state of well-being is the accumulation of being well, this means that wealth is the accumulation of quantifiable resources. Riches, alternatively, can be classified as the abundance of those quantifiable resources. I go back to the analogy that riches are the offspring of wealth in the same way that apples are the fruit from an apple tree. Therefore, ideas are a form of wealth and ultimately the true source of riches. So, where do great ideas come from and how can we get them? Sometimes it can appear that only special people have an abundance of ideas, but that just isn't true. And I'm going to prove it by showing that this can be a level playing field for everyone. Now, the origin of ideas are goals, but these become more personal and powerful when these are goals that you can set for yourself. This is uniquely a creative endeavor because ultimately it is a need or a perceived need that becomes the source of your goal. This endeavor becomes a spiritual discipline because your creative imagination is now attempting to physically manifest an invisible concept. For example, if you need to flourish, your ideas will be determined by that goal. However, if you just need to survive, then your ideas will alternatively be constrained by that goal. Therefore, we won't get rich ideas from having just a need to survive mindset. They need to be a lot more than that. This all comes back to changing what we think and how we see things. James Allen put it this way: until thought is linked with purpose, there is no intelligent accomplishment. Proverbs 23 verse 7 put it this way: as a man thinks in his heart, so is he. And Earl Nightingale put it this way: we become what we think about most of the time. So, changing what we think and how we see things has often been referred to as a paradigm shift. Now, this term originally was from scientific philosopher Thomas Kuhn and has been used in a non-scientific way to describe a fundamental change in approach or underlying assumptions. Therefore, any new piece of information we receive has the ability to change the way we see and interpret a situation. But our paradigm is what will allow this to work or not. If we look at this using a mobile phone analogy, your paradigm is a bit like the Android or the iOS operating system, which only will work with the right app or software application. And your ideas are like those apps. They will either be compatible or incompatible with your paradigm. So let's go back to what I said earlier about ideas being a form of wealth and ultimately the true source of riches. If your idea is like the app and the origin of those ideas are the goals you set for yourself, then what is the paradigm that you're using? Again, your paradigm is like your personal operating system, of which there are three types to choose from. Number one, the paradigm of not enough. This has a lot to do with dependence and where struggle takes place. Paradigm number two, just enough. This is the paradigm where a lot to do with survival fits here. For example, you can be an employee in a job that you feel constrained in, you feel boxed in, you feel like there are no options for you to excel. The third paradigm is the paradigm of more than enough. And this is where the realm of entrepreneurship sits. This is where we are looking at profits after expenses are paid. And this is the paradigm where a level of ultimate success can be viewed within. So the benefit of adopting a more than enough paradigm and mindset is that you look at ways to make a profit, not just for yourself, but to also change situations influencing your sphere of influence, other people, and other communities so that fewer people are left behind. Now, there are reasons, however, for why ideas sometimes don't work. The first one is a clash with a paradigm. The second is either a clash with habits and your routines. So it could be a clash with your time. It could be a clash with the fact that there's no discipline within this sector. The third reason could be a clash with lifestyle. And this could be a clash with our physiology, our posture. It could be a clash with the networks we have, or a clash with the relationships within them. The fourth reason can be a clash with systems, and this can be to do with our plans and the structures that we have in place. So what can we do to flourish? The first thing we can do is by elevating our goals. And by doing this will generate a higher level of idea. This will also condition us towards thriving instead of just surviving. And this will also have a bearing towards having a profit and surplus, which is ultimately everyone's right. The second thing we can do to flourish is by working on our daily routine to change our habits. And this can include a positive outlook, putting quality things into ourselves as a form of fuel, having consistent output of action, and then also making time for rest and recreation. The third thing we can do to flourish is by increasing the probability for success. And this is by making room for our ideas within our lifestyle and within the systems that we implement. Thanks for listening to Learning for Legacy. To join our community or find out about what else we get up to, you can follow us on Twitter at Legacy Learning or on our website at www.legacylearning.co.uk. To access additional content or exclusives from this particular episode, please find the information within the show notes.